well, and things kind of went from bad to worse, and the Tower of Babel happened, and God kept looking for someone that would really trust him that he could just make a new start without wiping everybody out. And he found a man named Abram who really believed him, and he gave Abram a chance. He says, now Abram, I want to bless all the families of the earth, and I want to do it through you. If you'll believe me and follow me. And Abram believed it. And there was a new start for all the families of the earth to be blessed, which is God's aim, right? It always has been God's aim. God is not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to a knowledge of the truth. And then come Jacob and Esau. And I think, I can't prove this, folks, I can't prove it, but I think it's there in the character of God. I think he wanted those twins to be two powerhouses, guys, working together who would just double the strength and effectiveness of what he was doing. But Esau despised his birthright and didn't show any interest in the covenant of God. So God went from Jacob. Then Moses. And he tried to live it after the people went wrong then, went down to Egypt and sinned and went after all the Egyptian gods and ended up in slavery. He sent Moses to deliver them. And they refused it. They turned it down. So the deliverance was delayed 4 years. Moses had to go out in the wilderness a week. He was 40 years old. God was ready when he was 40 to make him the leader to bring them out. So when he was 80, he had to go back and start all over again. And if you are approaching 80, and who isn't? Paul is approaching 80. Beth is approaching 80. She doesn't like to have you mentioned, but she is approaching 80. Joanna's approaching 80. So we're all approaching 80. Don't be discouraged, because you would never even know the name of Moses if it hadn't been for what he did after he was 80. So God has a lot that he can do for you and through you, even if you're still approaching 80. A new beginning happened to him. Did for Moses. And through Moses twice, Moses had to persuade God not to destroy all the people and make a new start for him. And that's the way God does. And he offers a new chance. Okay, so with Israel, he brings them finally up to the land of Canaan through Moses' second shot. And what did they say? Oh, no, dreadful, no, we can't go in. So they wander around the wilderness. And 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. Now Moses is 120. But they finally go in on their second shot. God gave them another chance. So he continues to say, well, now, let's do it now. And what's he trying to do? Bless all the families of the earth. And the reason that Israel was his chosen people, never forget, this is very clearly expressed in the Bible. Not because they're better than the others. And he tells them, I didn't choose you because you were better than the others, or more numerous, or more exciting, or anything better than that. I chose you in order to bless everybody else. I chose you because you were supposed to trust me and follow me, and then everybody would say, wow, look at that people. Let's follow their God. And that was supposed to happen. Well, Israel blew it again and again and again, all through the prophets. And we find in the prophets God telling them, I don't know why you're not following me. I have sent to you persistently by the prophet, again and again through prophets. And you've been warned and warned and warned. Well, you know the sad story of what happened with Cain. Well, even before that, God said, I'll be your king. And he would send them judges to deliver them, and then they'd turn back to the foreign gods. And then he'd send them another one, and then they'd turn back to the foreign gods. And finally, Samuel, and they said, no, we don't want you, Samuel. We want a king, like all the other countries. And this hurt Samuel's feelings, and God said to Samuel, Samuel, you're not the one that rejected. They're rejecting thee. They don't want thee for their king. They want a king. So we'll tell them what their king's going to do. He'll invent something called taxes. They said, that's okay. So we owe it to them. We have taxes. then Solomon blew that, married 700 wives, and each one had their own god, and he built temples for them all on a mountain just across from Jerusalem. And the hearts, his wives turned his heart away from God. And it just went from bad to worse. Now, as we go through the prophets, we find God again and again saying that he wanted to keep working through Israel. But when Israel as a nation made themselves just obviously useless for God's purpose, he said, well, I'll work with the remnant of Israel. I'll work with just those who are left who still are loyal to me, who still believe in me. I had planned, but I won't do it, a dramatic reading this morning of 5 chapters from Isaiah. Someday I may do it, because I'll tell you, it is powerful when you read these 5 chapters. Well, when we read all but 5 chapters show how God goes from wanting all Israel to be his instrument to where he's given up on them and says, all right, I'll just use the remnant. And then, beyond that, oh, well, even the remnant is faithless. I'm going to find one servant of mine. And it now